Okay, I'm back out walking again. And no, it's not the same shirt. I have two shirts. I have five of these color shirts. Just to let you know. But I just want to talk a little bit about anticipation and how, after listening to the news last week, how much anticipation I have. So last week with the news in the United States that you don't have to wear a mask when you've been fully vaccinated. And I know that's not anywhere close here in Canada. Not even anywhere close. In fact, they just came out with their guidelines for having something like that happen. They say in order to have a half decently normal summer, and by normal summer they mean outdoor activities open, not necessarily restaurants open or movie theaters open. They mean, outdoor stuff. And they definitely don't mean sporting events and going to a baseball game or anything like that, for sure. They even stated that that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about maybe having a barbecue with people if you've had your first dose of your vaccine and everyone else has too. So, but they're saying that in order for that to happen, we need to have 75% of Canadians have their first dose of the vaccine and 20% have their second dose. Well, we're going into the last 2 weeks of May. We are currently still at 6%, sorry, 3.6% of people fully vaccinated in Canada. So we're a long way from 20%. And we are, I believe, now we're at 43% of our population supposedly has gotten their first dose. So that's at least a step in the right direction. We have a half decent amount of people who've done that. So that's in 5 months. That's in over 5 months now. And I really don't believe that we're going to get the remaining 30 some percent done in a month and a half. It would be great if it did, because now we're at that point where we have to start giving out second doses. It's at that 4-month point for a lot of people who started getting the shots in December and January and February. Their second doses are coming up soon. So that's going to slow down the first dose administration and start focusing on the second. So if you end up having, if we've gotten 40 some percent of our population in 4 months, well, that 40% has to have their second dose over the next 4 months, right? So, no, I don't see it happening. It's a very aggressive target. I don't think it's going to happen. And to be coming to the point where you are in the United States, they're saying that we need at least 75% of the population to have been fully vaccinated, and then 60% of the population has to be 75% has to have their first dose and 65% has to have their second dose in order for them to start saying you don't have to wear a mask anymore. And even then, we'll probably go province by province instead of right across Canada, as we tend to do here. So yeah, but boy, watching some of the people's face and talking to my friends and everything, it just seemed to be the lifting of 1,000 tons off people's shoulders, where they could now ditch that mask if they wanted to, if they felt safe enough to do it. It's still your choice. You don't have to do it. You can still wear a mask if you want, especially in a crowded location. No one's going to question that. But if you want to ditch your mask and you've been fully vaccinated, you can. You don't have to check your pockets every time you get ready to leave the house to see if you have your mask on. You don't have to make sure there's a stash of them in your car. And maybe, just maybe in the future, we don't have to keep watching stupid television shows with everyone wearing a mask in front of their face to remind us, by the way, there's a pandemic, everybody. I think that was the worst decision TV shows did, because I stopped watching. I stopped watching my favorite TV shows because it bothered me now that every time I was watching my shows, like law shows and things like that, everyone's wearing a mask now, and they'll start talking with the mask on, and they'll take the mask off and they'll talk and they'll put it back on. It annoyed the crap out of me. So I stopped watching that, and now I don't think I watch anything on TV but live sports. There's nothing out there I'm watching. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep cable. That's for sure. But man, my anticipation level after talking to my friends and them being able to take off their mask, I can't wait for that day. I may hold a mask burning party at my house. And I'm not one of those anti-maskers. I hate the mask. I despise the mask, but I wear my mask. Kind of a question though is that I know a ton of people. I know people who work with about 200 people a day. I know people who are working in the grocery stores. I know people who are working in the service industry. I know people who are working in Amazon. My entire family. And out of every single person, if you count all that in the city of Ottawa, I probably have a direct contact or indirect contact with about 1,500 to 2,000 people. None of us know a single person who's had COVID. None of us. Yet it's supposed to be rampant. And you would think with people in the frontline workers. My daughter's a nurse. She sees people with COVID, but she doesn't have people in her like in the hospital that have had COVID. There's no nurses that she knows of. My doctor hasn't seen a single case of COVID in her hospital. My nephew works in grocery stores. He doesn't know a single person. I know a company, Frito-Lay, Amazon, PepsiCo. They don't have a single case, and they have hundreds and hundreds of employees. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just, we know it's there. It's something that you know is there. You know it can be serious, because I do know people have told me how some of their friends have passed away from it and things, and you can know it's serious. You see the pictures, you see the hospital stories. But when you don't have it in any of your circle, and it's been over a year, it starts to, no wonder people get that feeling of, it's not real. It's not really out there. But we know it's out there, and so you can't let your guard too down. But there is such a thing as too strict as well, right? And I think that's some of the problem. The government likes to tighten the restrictions. And sometimes they go overboard. Like, for instance, golf courses. I think closing a golf course in an outdoor activity in the summer is ridiculous. Considering you don't have 1,000 people gathered together. They're spread out hundreds of yards apart from each other. And even the guys who are golfing together usually aren't near each other except just to tee off. Because if you play golf like me, you're shooting way over here, way over there. So, yeah. But they'll close it. The only jurisdiction in North America that's closed golf courses in the summertime. Ontario. And the logic is well, I talked to my buddies, the premier says. I talked to my buddies, he says. And, you get one guy and you get another guy together for a game, and you get another guy, and it's not the golf by itself. It's, but you get together before the game, and then you get together after the game. You go for a couple pops and everything. And, where are they going for pops? Because everything's closed. The restaurants closed, the bars are closed, the golf courses can't serve liquor, so there's no place to go sit down on the golf courses to have that beer and have that pop out in the clubhouse afterwards. They're closed. So that's a really ridiculous excuse. So maybe you should talk to your friends again, Mr. Ford, because they haven't been golfing in a while. And if they are, maybe they're golfing at the country club. And not everyone can afford a country club. Most of us can just golf at hack clubs. So, yeah, I have such anticipation to be able to take that mask and throw it off. Especially what I would feel is like a little bit of overboard. for some of our restrictions. I really do. Um, can't play tennis, guys. Can't play tennis. Can't play golf because somehow that is a communicable disease spreader. And I don't know about you, but I don't have too many people following me around on the golf course when I'm golfing or watching me play tennis, unless it's to laugh. So no. Overboard, and that's why you're getting suddenly in Canada mass demonstrations against the lockdowns. Didn't have it until this. Didn't have it till now. And now we have tens of thousands in Ottawa, in Toronto, in Montreal, in Quebec City, in Vancouver, in Alberta. Maybe, just maybe, you have to use more common sense in your restrictions so it's not to the point where people aren't going to listen to you. Because I guarantee you, on my street, we're in a stay-at-home order, and I guarantee you, I can count, I don't know, a third of the cars on the weekends on this street don't live here. So if you think anyone's listening to you right now, you got high hopes. But man, I can't wait for that one day where the government comes out and says, you don't have to wear a mask. If you want to see a guy jump for joy, stay tuned for that. Trouble is, it might not be till next year.